Aloha kako. Welcome to episode 39, Darkside of Hawaiian Politics. Brought to you by the Crown Room Studios, live for our weather after our intro. Kapole. Aloha kako.
Aloha mai kako. E nā hoa maka maka, mai kahi kihi, ai kahi kihi. Again, welcome today. Another beautiful sunny side up on the dark side of Hawaiian politics. Today's Olelo No of the day. We're gonna start off with a page right out of Puku'i and our Puke Olelo No. So today's Olelo No has to do with the ulu. So, la lau aku oi ka ulu I ka vekiu. I ke alo no ka ulu. Hala. Yeah. So you reach for the breadfruit way at the top, the vekiu, and miss the one hanging right there in front of your face. And this Olelo No, there's a lot of kauna to it, but it actually refers to, people who strive to reach the top or strive to hit an opportunity that's far-reaching, but the ones right in front of them aren't taken care of. And it goes back to the time of Kalakaua, where he promised a position to one of his chiefs, Kama'iopili of Maui, but he forgot his promise. And while they were playing pool one day, Kama'iopili kept striking out, hitting the cue ball, which is the ulu they call. And he would say, Kealo no ka ulu, hala. So every time he missed it, he struck out. He kept saying it. And really, he was dropping the count on Kalakaua, right? Like, hey, the ulu ball is right in front of your face. And we still having a hard time, taking care of those ulus. And anyway, lalau aku oi ka ulu I ka wekiu, I ke alo no ka ulu, hala. Yeah, so you reach for the breadfruit way at the top, but you miss the one in front of you. So malama those ulus right in front of you, those low-hanging fruits, we have to feed our people. Yeah, not just the ones at the very top that might look plump and juicy. You gotta get the ones small kind brown, small kind little bit drips on the side. Because the ono is in the mea'ai from the aina. So that's your Olelo No of the day on this Lono moon. Yeah, it's in the Anahulu Ho'emi. So we're going down into the no moons, into the Kane moons. So even though it's a Lono moon, it's actually a Kane moon. So we send our pules to the Most High, and we meet you guys at the lowest ulu down here on the bottom.
Kako. So for the weather, Mokokeave, your north highs 87, your low 79, your east high 85, your low 79, your south 82, high low 77, your west highs 89, your lows 81, and for your He'enalu this week is 1 to 2 north, east 1 to 3, south 0 to a flat, 2 or 1 foot, and your west of rounding it up 1 to 2.
Small kind
wave
only.
cast.
Yeah.
So be mindful. Social distancing 14-day quarantine is in effect. So be mindful of that, Kako, when you're out. And make sure that you're safe above all. Safety first.
Yo.
Next up, without further ado, our first topic for Smash or Pass is
What we got?
Civil Beat, top Honolulu official, needs to step down during criminal probe civil beat. So, Kapo Ole, we have Mr. Murakami, who is the head of the Labor's Industrial Union, the Labor Department. He's been on a 2-month leave. He's on a 2-month leave, paid vacation from the state. Then he basically goes straight into the checkout mode.
Yeah.
And that is where everything is messed up. Because without, how can we say it? We urge accountability upon the state because they continue to conspire to defraud our community. So with that, I would have to smash. Kapole. Get him.
Yep, gotta smash. It's just painting the picture of the state, right? And the fake state and just how incompetent they are, especially right now during, a pandemic, during an emergency, a real worldwide emergency, right? And so the problem here is that there's no one who's taking accountability for those actions. And, people like Scott Murakami are able to, basically come in, get paid, and check out without any kind of progress, without any answers. And that's a big problem. Yeah, and that's kind of the status quo for how the state operates, right? So we have to give that a big red smash.
right?
You know, and I don't want to point fingers at one particular person here, whether it's Scott Murakami or the labor departments, right? The Department of Labor and Industrial Relations. Because it starts at the top with David Ige, right? These are people that he's positioned and he's put in as the leader. So gotta smash on the fake state for the.
I gotta add on to that. You're right. Because of this probe that is up right now, this is a criminal probe, Kako. Yeah? With this criminal probe, this collusion is above the state of Hawaii and its continuous fraud and neglect and its fiduciary duties that it continues to have. And that is my concern. My concern is we will never be able to get this fair treatment, right? While this Democratic Party has been in seat. It's been in seat for what, nearly 50? Over 50 years or so, right?
Oh yeah.
So
Since the statehood, pretty much. It's before statehood, actually.
So yeah, so even before statehood. So that's what we're talking about, Kapo'ole. And this is our first topic of the day. You know, we have to start it off correct, yeah, with this collusion. Because this is what basically is going down in the crown right now. And that's why I believe this guy, Murakami, yes, the head man, right? The head guy for the industrial relations continue to conspire with Ige and with all of these guys. And that's why we have to
Kalamai everyone for the technical difficulties. We gotta get set over here. Our sound and our camera is not linked up.
here we are. Next up,
We're scrambling the eggs.
we scramble the eggs just like how we're going to scramble these cockroaches. Next up, on the chopping block, we got
What we got?
we got the commissioner and Kalamayao, the technical difficulties. We went over Murakami, and this is what we were discussing. Our criminal probe. So we're now moving on with our commission rules. County can deny vacation rentals on ag land, Tribute and Herald.
Okay. This is the one.
So Kapuole, the commission ruled county can deny vacation rentals on ag land because we've been having a rash of incidents happening on Moko Keave, where we have these developers using our ag lands to conduct our, what would you call, a scam. And that's where we have to give a pass, or me have to give a pass for the commissions of ag who stood up and denied that you can have a vacation rental upon our ag lands which are zoned for. Thank you once again, Commission. That is definitely a pass and worthy of a solution. To not conspire with these rich foreigners who come and manipulate the laws. Kapole, Manao.
Okay, yeah. So, you know, on the principle, I think the issue here, I definitely agree that we need to regulate these kinds of vacation rentals, right? The Airbnbs, the snowbirds that come over here and just take advantage and use Hawaii as a launch pad to do whatever kind of debauchery they want to do here. Take our resources, flip it, and basically further entrench us in this capitalistic model that America really enforces here. So I definitely agree we gotta regulate these guys. I'm not sure this commission is capable of regulating too much though. So it's good. It's a good gesture, I say, but who's gonna enforce this? I myself personally, knowing all the action going on in Puna, places like Puna, Deep Puna, places like Hamakua and all the farmlands, there's a lot of ways people can get around these rules and regulations. So to make the announcement is not enough. There needs to be a strong enough arm of enforcement. And right now we know how weak that arm is and how they use it for political maneuvering. Yeah, the state and the counties do. So I just worry that this is another instance where we're trying to over-regulate something that really the state has no way to regulate and to malama. So I gotta smash the county and the state, while also giving a pass to the commission, right, for being proactive and to bringing awareness to this issue. We do have to stay on top of it and malama our lands, our ag lands especially. Our ag lands should be used for agriculture purposes. So where are the programs that's gonna support us in doing that? Right now there aren't very many. So we need more pro-action on ag lands.
Kapo ole, yes. You know, just some quick mana'o before we get off of this this topic. Kila'i out in South Kona. These things are supposed to be managed properly by the state, OHA, and whatnot. And what do we have now? We have multi-million-dollar homes now in Kila'i, and that is zone ag. Yeah, so OHA, I know you are responsible for it. You guys stood up in opposition when they developed it, but that isn't good enough because they're still developing in our sacred areas and upon our agro lands. Right. So, OHA, do a better job with the collusion. Wrap it up. Make sure these foreigners get off of our ag zone lands with their multi-million-dollar homes raising grass as agriculture food for these billy goats running around.
That's a great point you bring up. Yeah, OHA, all these guys who have the media capacity to bring light to these issues. Time for you guys to step up and into our communities and bring these issues, these critical issues to light. And not just cherry pick the shiniest cherry, but show everybody. Right?
Yeah, so without further ado, next up on the chopping block, we got
we got sashimi.
We got sashimi.
We got red fish or white fish.
We got the OMK board meeting that took place.
OMKM, yeah.
OMKM. This took place this past week, August 10th, for Greg Chun. Greg Chun, don't know much about him because I've never seen him. So that speaks a lot. Our community has been overlooked. And we had an opportunity to weigh in. It was a last minute barrage by OMKN to sneakily put this on Zoom, right? I know a lot of people not ma'a with these things, but that's why, just like us and a lot of people are developing and having these rough spots, it's important for us to run through these rough spots to be able to come out with our final goal and product, which is the proper information and the proper tools so we can log on to Zoom. Because it's such a technical world now. Our keikis are going to be going to school on Zoom and have online classes. Same thing with these meetings. These meetings are held Zoom. It's pretty hard to get a hold of them, but when you do, Kako, please go ahead and testify and sign up. We do not, the BTC, the Koakia'i do not endorse the Mauna Kea Management Board, OMKM, DLNR. Right now, there's koas being stolen off our Mauna. Our PP are being sold for profit by department heads. Rico, and these are what Kenji Price needs to be coming in and checking it out, because we urge everybody in our community who supports the protection of our cultural, historical, sacred sites. And this is it, Big Mama, Kapo'ole. With that being said, the collusion is over. Suzanne D. case. Kealoha signed the ESI. Kenji Price, check it out, man. The collusion is supreme around here. Bill Amalaya passed it as DLNR before moving into Hawaiian homes and arresting 33 kupuna. So, with that in hand, Kako, with that in hand, we always hold them accountable to what they do as Collusion, DLNR, DOT, DHHL, EGE, and the state, and
OMKM,
OMKM,
MKMR,
the alphabet soup.
MKSS, right? Like they like change their name a little bit every time they mess up and they catch heat, they catch cracks. But I want to say mahalo, Brother Kepa, for representing us over there. Not very many people actually testified, but like you said,
Nobody knew
about it, right? So you actually had to be connected to people saying, "Hey, we're going live. The Zoom meeting is happening at 5 o'clock." And I think there was a couple other testifiers out there.
Uncle Harry,
Herring,
handling his business, smashing.
The Sierra Club, right?
The Sierra Club, Mahalo.
Right, so mahalo to all those Kanaka continuing to due diligence, right? As these kind of alphabet soup agencies continue to perpetuate this fraud, basically, right? They want to do this, they want to do that, they want to do everything except for address the real issues they have to address. Yes. And this is another perfect example, right? They wanted you guys to testify on certain reforming of the board, right? That the BOR passed. But that's why they just keep reforming and reforming. It's the same corrupt organization. So, gotta smash. Mahalo for being there to give them the red.
And not every week we have a lot of Mauna Kea week, but this week for your Mauna Kea update, your OMKM, and also right now we have.
Who we got?
We got number 2. After OMKM, we got the new home for Hoku Kale.
Oh, here we go.
Kapole, how you feel about the Hoku Kale when everybody's reaching for the stars?
Yeah, not till they touch the ground.
They reach to the stars, bro.
They still never clean up their Opala over here, right? And as you can see, this is a whole like smoke and mirror thing. Yeah. They're supposed to decommission. The plan for all the telescopes is they have to decommission in a timely, appropriate way. But they've never decommissioned anything. Mm-hmm. So here it is, the first one coming up for a decommissioning, right? And everyone gets the great idea. Let's use this as a classroom. Let's use this for the keiki. Mm-hmm. All the old guys over there saying, let's use it for the keiki, right?
Right. So the keiki is right there in the front of the road, right?
You're not fooling me. This is the same old guys. This is their old toys. Right, on the mountain, and they want the next generation to inherit the rubbish, right? And we'll move the rubbish down over here, so now we get 2 sites that you gotta clean up later on with our old toys. I just don't see the real value and the real benefit for our community. All I see is shucking and jiving to maintain the same status quo of facilities, of control, and of an appearance of something good. So we know this has been 2 years already. They've been going through this process. We don't want to decommission. We want to malama. We want to repurpose. We want to leave it here. We want to bring the kids up. We're going to move them down to 9,000 feet, right? Now they're going to develop the whole Haleʻihaku area at the 9,000 foot level, right? Above the cloud line, right? So it's a good spot to watch. Not as good as way up top, but the second best spot right next to, what is it?
The Saimin Bowl.
The Saimin Bowl, right? The hall, the country club, the country club that they have up there. All those facilities that the UH uses to house and pamper and care for this industry, right?
So right now they're turning Mickey D's into your Saimin $2 cups and your $1.50 cocoa packs. Number 1 combo to go next to Hoku Kale. That's how they do the community.
Cosmic cones.
Cosmic cones, smashing. You guys still look past the properties and the airs before you even go up and touch the stars.
That's it.
So, Kako, next up on your Mauna Kea update. And
Mauna
Kea update, Kako. We got 3 today. You guys was on the list today.
Yes.
We got the love letter from Mrs. Lisa Malakawa and the American patriot Nathaniel Patriot. The Hawaii Ethics Board receives petition over Mauna Kea protest camp. Kako, here we have it. Mrs. Malakawa and her husband quite avid TMT protectors, and these guys are nothing short of crisis actors. They continue to pop up at our community ventures. Don't say much, but have lots to say when the camera's rolling. And so we've seen these people. In fact, they stole property at Mauna Kea, Kako. These people went around and thought they were doing a deed by taking people's property during the hurricane time when people wrapped up their belongings and held it down. Right. And so TMT and their supporters who took pictures of thinking they're cleaning up were actually filming themselves stealing personal properties that don't belong to them and are basically on Hawaiian homes. So if Mr. Nathaniel is not 50% and doesn't have $1 million bond, then he should be going to jail. Because just like any Hawaiian who trespasses on Hawaiian homes gets to go to jail, free ride, Nathaniel, you deserve one too. Because I'm not sure if you got 50%, but those lands that you guys went on to take whatever you guys believe was rubbish, you guys failed to miss the bigger picture. Take down the telescopes and all the rusted cans fencing along the line of Humu'ula that's been there for over 60 years. That is the real issue that you guys failed to neglect. You guys want to steal people's personal belongings that's obviously going to come back, and then you guys go ahead and do that. So the Hawaii Ethics Board receives petition, Kako. I'm happy they received something. And I really want to see what kind of banana lumpia they want to pass down on top of us, this ethic board. Because these guys...
I hope it's crispy.
Yeah, these guys, these banana lumpias decide that they're going to wrap us up, deep fry us in nice brown sugar, and for a nice tasty treat. Just like how they did our kupuna on the access road. Oh, yeah. And so that's why it's so encouraging to see the ethic board receive such a petition and even consider such an atrocious act to the beneficiaries who probably have an undivided interest and ownership of that property you guys are describing. With that being said, I got a smash on Auntie Malakawa and Sergeant Nathaniel, Patriot Nathaniel, for writing this petition. Because I believe the ethics board need to step up. And we want to see them do the right thing. Right. Next up, you for the bat. How do you feel about Auntie Malakawa?
You want the backhand too? Front hand and the backhand?
Well, Auntie Malakawa. Right? You're going to talk about Auntie Malakawa.
That's not my auntie, I tell you that. She has a Hawaiian last name, right? Because I believe she married one Kanaka.
Oh, okay.
But that's the danger of people like that, right? They get used, these crisis actors, like you said. This is a perfect example of one that uses the Hawaiianization or this token kind of Hawaiian attribute. In this case, she's married into that side, right? So I cannot call her a Native Hawaiian American token Hawaiian. But I can say that she's misappropriating our culture and who we are, identity, stealing our identity to manufacture again these kinds of controversial issues. To act like Hawaiians, think like Howlers, basically, right? And so for me, I gotta smash.
Smashing?
I gotta smash these guys, and also the ethics commission, right? Because the ethics commission, you guys should be going after the big dogs, right? What's happening in Honolulu right now? That's big time scandals. FBI's involved, right? And so the ethics commission is gonna look at Mauna Kea law enforcement. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. It's a shit show. Pardon my French, but you know, I just gotta say, these guys want the laws to be enforced. You want us to follow the rules of law. That's what we want too. Follow the laws of occupation, follow international law, follow your own domestic laws, United States, right? Yeah. And stick to your own freaking stuff. Because right now you guys is just crisis actors and you know that kind of confusion is spilling all over our communities. So gotta give them a smash.
Yes. And so you guys continue. So when they set up and they said that these individuals who are staying up there, Titus, and the other Kanakas up there, we mahalo you, Nakia Ipa'a, for holding it down during the COVID-19. The BTC and the Koa Kia'i of Moko Keawe,
Yeah.
mahalo you
Yeah.
from the deepest of our na'au to your family for the sacrifices you made and your family has contributed to.
They
We
deserve
know
that attention.
we know how hard
They
it
deserve
is.
that
We
attention.
know how cold. We know how the Simon tastes. We know how the chocolate cocoa tastes. And so with that being said, if you guys out there, Kako, see Alika guys, see Titus guys, hit them up. Send food. Not necessarily monetary. Send them your love. Send them your aloha. Send them your pule. Send them food. Send them gas cards if you got. The BTC and the Koa Kia'i endorses Na Kia'i Pa'a.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, you have something to say about our ohana up there and supporting that?
I believe today, I just want to mention, I believe they're going through their Ailike
Yes.
process today.
Yes.
So we just send our aloha up to them. They're doing the work. They continue to do the work. They continue to hold the space for us up there. And so that's the kind of stuff we should be highlighting in the media. Not these crisis
Yes.
actors running around, making up stories
yes.
and causing manufactured controversy.
Yeah.
We got to look at the people who are actually putting their boots on the ground, laying their lives on the line, and
They're still there.
with integrity. They're still there, holding that space.
So
mahalo.
to turn it from the dark to a little bit of sprinkle of light,
Put the light
go
on
ahead,
it.
go check out Anake guys up the Na Kia'i Pa'a.
Yeah.
Up at the Mauna?
Tomorrow, I think tomorrow
Or is it tomorrow, Kalamai?
is La 400. So
La
they're gonna
400.
They're gonna have their ceremony. They're gonna be holding that space.
Practice social distancing. Wear your masks, scarves, attires. See you on the Mauna. Mahalo na Kia'i Pa'a.
There we go.
So, without further ado, we need to take a break and move into a quick, not long, COVID-19 update.
Here we go.
And this is where it goes down. Kako. Tulsi Gabbert calls for David Ige's top health officials to get fired or resign. Tell me what you feel about this threat, or is this the realest?
Well, I appreciate her holding these guys' feet to the fire right now. As we know, we see the spike that's happened here, mostly on Honolulu, right? Where every day is 200 cases, 300 cases. Now some of the deaths and some of the intensive care units are starting to fill up.
Yes.
Right? And so we're reaching that critical capacity. And it's just a travesty that we're catching this at the end. It's like the second wave. We got to watch America go through all their pilikia. And yet here in Hawaii, in the Hawaiian Islands, the leadership, the supposed leadership of the state of Hawaii has been so incompetent that they can't even take care of the borders. They can't even take care of their policy. They can't even take care of their own departments, the Department of Health, right? Which isn't wearing masks, isn't going through their own protocol with temperature checks and whatnot. So it's a whole case of grandstanding on the fact that this is what you guys should be doing, even though we're not doing it. We're not closing the borders, we're not shutting anything down, we're not following our own safety precautions, but we expect you guys to do it, and we're gonna criminalize you if you don't. So I mean, this is it just shows how incompetent the state is. Mahalo,
we're giving a pass.
We
got it today.
This is a temporary pass, right?
This is the pass and a solution. It's a solution.
Because he came in with the hammer, just what we needed.
Right.
And conked these gophers on the head that keep popping up in the fake state. Whack-a-mole, whack-a-mole, whack-a-mole. And you know what? She didn't save it just for the Department of Health. She went for Ige too. That's Ige's fault. Ige, you put those guys in power. Ige, you're the first in command. So that's on your watch, bro.
And so, Tulsi, Gabbard uppercut. Gabbard uppercut, handed the business.
There we go.
To Mr. Anderson. Mr. Bruce Anderson. He's always doing the fumbling. Mr. Anderson. He's one of the main Hawaiian weirdos that we got running around in the politician world. Mr. Anderson, everywhere I'm turning, you're a superstar. And then we have Mr. Sarah Parks, where you don't pass go and don't collect 200. Mrs. Sarah Park. These people are just true criminals in fashion, and you can see that the federal congressional law supersedes the land when the Gabbard uppercut comes in and says, fire these cupcakes.
Right.
And that's a pass.
She's like the whoopsie, right? Because you don't see her at all until the special move comes in. Boom,
she did this at Syria. Uppercut. She did this at Syria with the bombs, right?
Where was she? She just comes out of nowhere. Bam,
president elections, right? Yeah. She's coming out of nowhere. This conking guy's up. And to me, we got it. This is a solution, Kako. This is a solution. This is a pass. Let me just give you a quick one before we move on down. It's a pass because she knows when to hit the jump shot. And that's why she took it. When she seen the fumble, she recovered it, and she put the proper claimants on the claim.
From downtown, she did the step back, boom,
got him.
It. Yeah,
they got him.
Nothing but net.
Nothing but net, and it's a solution because she went for it, and with the congressional laws that she asserted. And with that being said, thank you, Tulsi Gabbard.
Yes.
Next up.
All
right, the shit show. So we got the COVID potluck from Mayor Cookie Caldwell.
There it is.
So Mayor Cookie Caldwell says he wants proof. He wants proof that the COVID didn't come from Honolulu, Haole. Yeah? So he says this retirement party that he ran, right? This retirement party or potluck that he ran basically had a cluster of, the European COVID-19 flu-like symptoms. And that is why Tulsi Gabbard came out and said, can all these cockroaches. Because she already seen the spike that came out of this area. And the audacity. You got to remember, Kako, Mayor Cookie Caldwell fumbled the ball at Hunananiho, first week of the COVID-19 sneak attack on the goal yard line. Fumbled it.
Fumbles.
The community recovered, put him on blast. Then he turns around and he says, that was a mistake. COVID-19, stay home, everybody take a time out. Everybody's been bad. But I can go out and throw a potluck or retirement in Honolulu, Haole.
Leave the gate wide open. Everybody else to bring their pilau action.
Hundreds of people had to be tested in these zones. 100. And that's why we got to laugh and we got to smash on the collusion of Cookie Kirk Caldwell and the COVID-19 potluck. They continue to every week make the highlight reel as it ain't no thing.
Bruh.
And so this one is for you, Cookie.
These guys.
Cookie Caldwell and the COVID-19 potluck. What you think about that?
I think you got it pretty much on point. I mean, this is another example, I believe, of this kind of these headlines that detract us from the real issues, right? The corruption, the inconsistency in the policy,
the fluff,
the whole fluff, the whole shucking and jiving, and the smoke in the mirrors that the state of Hawaii loves to operate under. So I don't want to get too worked up over this headline, because there's going to be another one tomorrow. There's going to be another one next week. And we're going to have to smash all of these, right? But let's not lose track of the real issue here, which is incompetent leadership from the state of Hawaii, right? Finger pointing, blaming, and basically taking cues from the United States of America, right? From the highest corrupt buggers out there, right? This is how Trump works. So, it doesn't surprise me that Ige and these other state heads, talking heads, are playing the same games. So let's not get too worked up. Let's stay on task with the real issues also. Yeah. Right.
COVID-19, two more to wrap it up, because it's a shit show right now. We
need the sound effects now. It'll flush.
I know. Next week, Kako, you guys are in for something next week, man.
For the technical difficulties.
But next week, you guys are gonna get it.
Yeah.
As we give it. So, next up, we got this crook Mr. Government appointed Ispinda. If you guys remember about Ispinda, he falsely lied about a riot that took over our Maui facility. An uproar where community members felt and heard about their family members getting hurt during this time. This is right before his appointment.
At the correctional
so you
facility.
know it only can get better, because as he was being appointed, a few correctional officers already got hit with drug smuggling into facilities, along with a Big Island correction facility officer who was caught with drugs with a wahine out in Mokokeawe. This is before he gets the approval from the Ige Fernandez shit show. Ispinda. 70 additional OCCC inmates, family members, have contracted COVID. They're having a COVID-19 potluck in OCCC right now, where over 7 ACOs have tested positive. And this is about a day and a half old news, which brings great concern because the whistleblower came out last night and said that the state lied to you, Kako. The test that they said they were testing you with was no test. Yes? And so this numbers of what OCCC is giving out is very deceiving and very premature. Because from the whistleblower last night on NNN talks about the testing was not even correctly admitted, facilitated, or even happened. Kenji Price, we need you out there, Kenji. We need you out there, because this is a smash, and this is definitely a collusion to what's going on at OCCC. Check out our news now. Yesterday, there was an inmate that tagged us in, and he caught COVID-19. He wanted to have medical help and be in a hospital or another safe zone. They're sticking him back into the home where the other inmates in the halfway home is situated. Go check out the story. It's pretty crazy, Kako. This can happen to any one of our family members who are being violated from the prison situation that is on hand due to the illegal occupation. What you think about Ispinda?
Yep, another chapter, another circus, right? Another event in this 50th state unfair, the Ige Fernandez shit show, like you say. But you know, like putting our most marginalized people at risk, right? Putting the people who are locked up at risk.
Right.
And just, you know, this is another sign of the incompetence of this state. They can't seem to get anything right when it comes to protecting the health and safety of our people, even though they're collecting millions and millions of dollars right now during this pandemic, during this emergency time, right? They're getting federal funds,
right,
like they did for the contact tracers, right? They got 50 million and only 10 or 15 of them are actually doing work, not even competent work, but actually doing some kind of follow-up contact tracing. So it's not just this one example, right? It's not just OCCC. These are all cases of the overall corruption and dysfunction of the state of Hawaii. It isn't capable of caring for its own office, right? Its own offices, its own hale, its own building where it operates from, let alone the ones where they lock up kanaka, let alone the place where tourists and outsiders come in, right? So I can't seem to state it enough how incompetent and dysfunctional the state of Hawaii is right now. We're seeing it live in real time, and it's our lives at risk. You know, and so I just want to send some pule and send some positive aloha out to the inmates who are in there, who are at the mercy of whatever's happening.
Getting extorted, private prison profits.
You know, and then I saw some videos too, like people who are on parole, people who are released early, you know, and then them getting thrown back into the meat grinder, right? Not having any support if they test positive. And
that's what the video showed.
What the future entails. So I just gotta send some pules out to those inmates out there, those kanaka, a lot of them locked up for non-criminal offenses. And while the real criminals are running this this paeaina into the ground, running these lands into, chaos.
Right. So, without further ado, that has to be a smash. We cannot allow any more misabuse on our prison ohana who are being extorted for private prison profit. We will not stand for it, neither shall you. Next up on the chopping block, to make it a high note, to end the COVID-19 section, we've got HSTA seeks legal action against the shit show that Ige is performing in.
All right.
So, HSTA is finally capable and being the smart teachers that we know that they are.
Right.
They're probably they're using their degrees, and their degrees are basically on what we believe. Sorry, it's a pass. It's a pass, and it's a solution. Attack David Ige, and the solution is to get everything set up correctly. Homework, I love it. What you feeling?
Yeah, I definitely agree. This is a definitely part of a solution. And so what's happening is the HSTA, the teachers union, is having to be proactive. And see, that's why it doesn't matter what part of the state you work for. It's almost like you have to file suit, and you have to go after the ones who are making the decisions, the higher ups. Yeah, even if it's within your own department, even if it's in your own sector, right? So I see this as a solution coming from the teachers themselves, right? The HSTA, they're saying, okay, you guys not gonna protect us. You're gonna have us go back to work with all these children at high risk time, with no precautions, with incompetence at every step of the way, right? Where's the insurance for these kanaka? Where's the special insurance for these keiki and these teachers, right? But HSTA now, I'm taking away from the actual headline, which is that they're suing. They're going after.
Going in.
Right? They're filing suit against the state for its incompetence. And like I said, whether it's DHHL, DLNR, every alphabet in the suit is like you have to go and file suit against the top dogs. Yeah, and then that puts your whole line of business and work in jeopardy, right? At the mercy of the politics and the money that comes through. So I gotta give them a green pass. Mahalo to the HSTA being very proactive and stepping up right now. I still believe our teachers are underpaid, underfunded, not supported enough. These are whether it's a pandemic or not, these are our frontline soldiers. These are the people in the trenches raising up our communities and doing the hard work day in and day out, year after year, to help us grow as a community. So I gotta mahalo all those teachers out there. I believe they're gonna be wearing black in solidarity on Monday. I think we should all wear black with them, and we should join them when they decide to picket and when they decide to protest on different levels, because this is just not fair to our frontline educators.
That's your COVID-19 update for the shit show this week. To wrap it up, smash, pass is your last 3 issues.
Man, we got a stacked deck, baby. Let's chop it up.
Wailuku homeless eviction.
Oh, frick. Yeah.
The illegal eviction. Mahalo ACLU for continuing this. First of all, this was illegal, flagrant, and all of the above. 15-yard penalty. We gotta smash on this. They illegally discriminating based on color, national origin, and probably even sex and other preferences.
Yeah, and
economic situations.
Yeah.
In Honolulu, they built tents, right? We passed that. They built tents, social distancing, everybody's safe. Moko Keawe, they come raid twice after the ACLU urges, do not. And that's what I have to say about this, man. For the ACLU to step up again, it's a pass, but it's a little bit too late, right? When they already got violated, how many times? But you know what? We wanna show the bright side of these things and efforts of the ACLU stepping up and being ran over.
Another clear example of the economic warfare that's going on right now. Across America, but over here too, we got infected in Hawaii and the Hawaiian Islands, obviously because of how Americanized things are, the politics especially. But this is an economic warfare situation here, right? The lowest level of this totem pole, so to speak, right, is always the one catching the cracks, right? We're in a pandemic. We have these edicts going out to say stop homeless sweeps, stop evicting during this time, right? This is a dangerous time to be sweeping anybody out of anywhere. But they continue to happen to the most disenfranchised Kanaka, right? And how do they do it? With all the force and guns of the money and the privilege that they have, right? They come in hard. They come with 20 officers. They come with full loaded paddy wagons.
20 officers,
everything.
4 divisions,
Exactly.
uncles, grandpas,
It's all
super chiefs.
coordinate, and Kanakas too, right? And send the Kanakas to do it all. The
Right.
brown ones, the brown blue boys, right?
Right.
So I gotta say, this is another clear example of the economic warfare that we're facing as Kanaka in Hawaii when we're getting evicted from the homeless camps that we have to delegate or relegate ourselves to because of this critical situation, right? 127 years of injustice since the illegal prolonged overthrow. The illegal prolonged occupation since the overthrow. And so, I gotta send some more aloha out to our homeless brothers and sisters out there, houseless Kanaka, right? A lot of them are not homeless.
Mahalo
They're
for
just
filming.
terrorized.
Yes.
They're terrorized by the rear terrorists,
Right.
the state of Hawaii, the fake state of Hawaii, and all the guns and money and privilege that they operate on. So I gotta smash those guys again. This is just this week. This is another homeless sweep this week, right, on Maui. And we're gonna see more of these.
We're going to see more. Stay
And so
tuned.
we need to be proactive.
Continue to record.
We need to be proactive.
Continue to document. We'll find the best way. Send it to Na'au News now. We'll make sure it makes our priority list during this COVID-19 pandemic. So next,
How are they gonna get the support that they need, the food that they need, when everything is at critical mass right now, right? How are they gonna get the support, the medical support that they need? It's just not gonna happen with sweeps and sweeping it under the rug and sweeping it into the ocean, like how the fake state likes to do.
yes, Kako. So our next up on the chopping block, we got Chief Ha'a. Chief Ha'a and the monument down in Captain Cook. So this topic has been a part of our community
This
for
is
some
actually
time.
from La
Yes.
Ho'i Ho'i
La Ho'i Ho'i Ea. So La Ho'i Ho'i Ea, we had Uncle Ha'a guys went down to Uncle Chad Ha'a and spicy Okinawan sweet potato. He went down there to Barrage, the obelisk, with Shelby Pikachu weirdo billionaire. And that's kind of what took place. They went down there to have an audit with their Kanaka union, led by our chief, Ha'a, right?
Yes.
And so,
Doing their due
diligence. So what we wanted to share is that there was a little, misunderstanding because, Gene and Pikachu always shows up when the party's peaking and they're never there to set up or break down. And that's kind of like what took place in this issue where we all kako this, but
Yes.
at the same breath, we got to remember, Brada Ka'ale, here we are. Brada Ka'ale.
Ohana's out down there.
Yes, the Ohana's down there.
Yeah.
Ka'ale already had a petition that was gone out years ago. And so the consistency and seeing our community evolve is a great thing. But we just don't want hype bunnies running around and poking anything that runs around.
Right.
And so, with that being said, Uncle Ha supported BTC the Ohana Moko Keawe, support your work, support your honesty, and going up there to resolve in Ho'oponopono.
Diplomacy. The diplomacy. I think that
mahalo you guys.
It was a great example. If you guys saw the video,
yes,
go check it out. We posted it on our on Now News Now.
Yeah.
But it's from La Ho'iho'i'ea, July 31st, just this past month. And I think it's a great example of how our chiefs, right? Like Uncle Chad Ha'a, who comes from a great lineage himself, right? Uncle Albert Ha'a and Auntie Melissa folks. They're Tutuman Iowane Ha'a and the chiefs before them, right? The little blue vault in heaven.
Yes.
But these are Kanaka showing true aloha for these issues, right? And true diplomacy, right? Going into those waters to find a solution. And instead of just tearing down the monument, which a lot of us want to do, right?
Right.
Myself included, right? But instead of going to the extreme, they're starting the process to remove that,
right?
And to bring light to the issue.
So mahalo
nui.
Keoa nui, House of Keoa, Pajimola, Ka'ale, the Ohana
all
out there.
All the Ohanas down there, Keala Kekua,
all of them.
Onau, right?
Mahalo for standing up and doing what's right, or putting the pressure on when the time is right.
These are sacred places, right?
These are sacred spaces.
Even though they've been colonized or they've been occupied by these alien forces, there's still great mana that we must tap into and respect for these places. So mahalo to the Ohanas. Dude.
Mahalo to the Ohanas, and that has to be a pass, right? We got to give that a pass, addressing that, giving that up, man. And last on the chopping block this week, we got Anakala Kemoku Kapu with his kahea out. So his kahea, right? If you go to his Facebook page, his kahea went out. He's going to be hosting Zoom lives. So if Uncle Kemoku is watching out there, Chief, jump in whenever you feel like it to give everybody what they need to know, because he's going to go over land commission awards, royal patents, kuleana, land patents, the definitions, the differences. He's holding this conversation because of the heinous attacks that's happening on them right now. Go ahead and check out their Facebook, man. We're Kamehameha Schools. You guys own the cliff sides. There's many state entities that is involved. You guys must preserve our kingdom heirs, our Hawaiian national heirs, our Hawaiian national treasures, and make sure no heva or no harm is put upon them during this COVID-19. I know we talked about this last week, but I feel like it's urgent enough that our chief is calling out to make sure that this message comes out to the Lahui to tune into this Zoom. And that's why we did the Zoom call conversation earlier. It's not only through the Zoom mechanism that we kind of get to these meetings, but it's also important that we use these Zoom mechanisms to hold our meetings, to get out these information. So if you guys know Anakala, Chief Kemoku, go ahead, tap in, check him out. He's going to be holding these live Zooms. These Zooms is for our keikis, is for our, you know what, make your food, sit down, and it'll be an educational, what can you say, an educational lecture over dinner. Whenever you hear, or lunch, or whenever the Zoom call hits.
Whenever it's convenient.
Whenever it's convenient.
The main thing I think too is like we can't treat these issues as just a headline, right? Just when they happen, we can't just say, "Oh, that's a headline. We talk about it now and it's pow." These kind of issues, these are our real Hawaiian Kingdom issues. We're talking about kuleana, we're talking about land title, we're talking about Kanaka exercising and asserting their rights to these aina, to this aina. We're talking about the return of vai back to where the streams and the muliwais and the natural flow, right? So these issues, we have to stay updated with it. We can't just treat it as a headline, "Oh, that was last week's news." No, these are things we have to go out and seek and continue to get involved with, to learn more about, to put the issues out into the forefront. And we're not just getting all crazy about COVID headlines and fake state headlines, but we're taking real time and energy to malama the real issues here.
Our prisoners, our kuleana awards, all of the people that are the minority, right? All the people that are invisible, right? Our inmates are invisible. Prison profit, making commodities, right? Our kuleana awards are so small, so little, that these people can be terrorized, vandalize their property, break their gates, and while the cops just sit there and giggle. Yeah, so that's the mana'o that and the solution that Anakala, Kemoku, Kapu out there. We believe in the process. We believe in the family traditions. We believe in Kau'i Keoli and his legacy of undivided interest, Kuleana Land Commission awards, and laws that he set forth for the international community to know. The Mahele book is for the international world to know, not only just us, that these properties are ours. And it's sealed with treaties recognizing our sovereign independent power that came from our mo'i and our ohana. And that's why we support and pass with a solution for Anakala, Kemoku, Kapu, and wanting to have this Zoom and get engaged and stay connected.
Right.
Stay connected.
We just shouldn't be wasting all our data and these streams on fluffy, beautiful kind of programming, right? Mahalo to the ones who are allowing us to engage some of those things. But if all our resources is going to just cherry picking and shining up the cherries, then, you know, we cannot make the cherry juice that we gotta make to sustain our kinos. And again, mahalo to Kemoku Kapu and all the Kanaka out there who are holding the line.
Yes.
If you have some issues that you feel like we need to cover,
or get connected too.
Link us in on Na'au News Now. Send us a private message. Or just link us in, right?
Yeah.
And we'll do our best to cover them, investigate some of the issues, or at least amplify your voices, because that's what our platform is about, amplifying the voices of our community, right, that need to be heard, the Kanaka in the Aina.
And with that, wraps it up for your Smash Show Pass for this week, Saturday, episode 39. 50th State of Confusion. Without further ado, Constitutional Oathbreaker of the Week.
Constitutional
Homework.
Oathbreaker of the Week.
Who is the violator?
39 weeks straight, David Ige.
Oh, the streak is still on.
I mean, I could blame the
streak
Department
is
of
on,
Health.
Kako.
I could blame DLNR. I could blame DHHL.
Slap him in a lao.
But you know what? It all comes back to the top of the cat in the hat, right? So David Ige, your incompetence is showing. Your inability to lead our people and to lead the organizations here that have the fiduciary obligation to malam our people is just so telling right now. Last year, you created emergencies. You created the emergency on the mountain, right? You tried to ram a 30-meter telescope down our community's throat and up the mountain, and you created an emergency situation there for over 6 months. Now this year, a real emergency is right up in your face, and we're seeing exactly how incompetent you are at dealing with it. So I gotta send a special shout out to
Constitutional Breaker.
Constitutional Oathbreaker, the big dull sword.
So without further ado, it has to go with Ige. Ige is the Constitutional Oathbreaker of the Week, while Kenji Price is here on vacation and look like he's buying a house in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Ooh. He's getting it dirt cheap right now.
He's getting it dirt cheap right now, and Kenji is not going anywhere anytime soon.
I bet he could get Hawaiian homelands if he wanted. He just knock on that door. They'll be
We're looking to get Kenji.
5 acres.
We're looking to get Kenji a little side deal where he can have a house next to Ige.
Right.
You know,
we'll set you up in a Hawaiian Kingdom, right?
Right.
Keep investigating these buggers, right?
We continue to put Ige on the highest award that you can get, which is a Constitutional Oathbreaker, which he continues to violate the 100 years of the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act and over 100 years of the Hawaiian Kingdom treaties, and continue to prolong this occupation and continue to use this pandemic to get our prisoners, which is the highest population, sick in the community, wiped out. And with that further ado, your Constitutional Oathbreaker is David Ige Egghead, the dung beetle. So now your rapid aloha before we tune out. Who's up for your Rapid Aloha this week that we want to give a shout out?
Rapid aloha. Well, first off, I want to shout out everybody tuning in.
Ooh.
Mahalo for the, for bearing with us through the technical difficulties. We're setting up a new system here. We got some new Kanaka getting involved. Shout out to the Crown Land crew, the Crown Room crew over here, making sure that we're not falling off too hard over here. But again, everybody out there watching, tuning in, supporting us, mahalo nui. Keep bringing your issues to our page and to the forefront so that we can analyze them and amplify the voices of our communities. Shout out to the
mahalo. Yes, shout out to the Kanakas. Mahalo for allowing us in your Pepe hours for the hour that you give us. Any news that you guys need to see fit, send it our way. Shouts going out to He Hawaii. Check out the side bowls. We're looking at Tuesday, Thursday pickups. Check out Tiny Moto Films if you guys need any video links, any editing, or Olena, which he makes. I think he makes every other week or so. Go ahead, hit him up in his IG. And to the Crown Land Studios for holding down the production while we're out. And the OO Olympics that's happening every week. Out
baby.
The Hamakua Coast.
Hamakua side. Anybody out there who wants to make aina, who wants to get back to the aina, who wants to maybe, hold on to their money and come put your energy and your time into the aina, right? Try to grow the future that we all need to thrive in the Hawaiian Kingdom. So OO Olympics every Wednesday, but come out anytime, 39 and a third.
39 and a third. So go ahead. Support local, get out in your mala, and
shout out
just
again to the Kanaka
banging.
on the Mauna, right?
Check them out.
Ipa'a.
Check them out tomorrow.
Na koa kia'i up there, keeping an eye on the koa, keeping an eye on the pipi, right? We heard we had some correspondence coming in about the pipi getting massacred up on the Mauna. We know that's an ongoing thing, that's an ongoing effort from the state, the DLNR. In collaboration with all these other organizations, the Army, right? Coming right up right now is RIMPAC this week. It's supposed to start this week, guys. So brace yourselves for the bombs. Mahalo to the coalition out there. Cancel RIMPAC Coalition. Go check them out. Go get activated. This has been a long-going fight to try to stop this RIMPAC, and it's only grown bigger and bigger and bigger. So,
Kualoha Aina.
Gotta malamar aina. Gotta malamar kanaka.
Mahalo kako. Go ahead, check out all the IGs, Tiny Moto Films. Check out He Hawaii, Saibo, Kanaka Kava.
Shout out to the crisis actors. We see you eating your cookies and American milk. We see you out there.
Kualoha Aina.
Hola. Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Why couldn't you just imagine if they